Hello, CISD fourth grade parents and guardians. My name is Dina Dinas. I'm the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning for the Coppell Independent School District, and as such, I support the gifted services across the district. Fourth grade is not a universal screening year, but I do want you to be aware of our practices should your learner be referred by an educator or an administrator for GT services. The state of Texas did make some revisions to the Texas State Plan for the Education of Gifted and Talented Students over the course of the last year or so. The latest draft from June outlines the expectations for school districts, at least to this point, and we have anchored all of the decisions we've made in that document. Reference is made to it throughout this presentation should you want that information. As I said on the previous slide, CISD anchors all of the decisions that we make for the education of gifted and talented learners in the state plan. Likewise, we had a program evaluation in the spring of 2013 where we brought together community members, administrators, educators, learners, and parents to discuss how we might better meet the needs of our GT learners, and that further informs our practices here. The most important thing to know about our service model is that it is fluid and responsive based on the needs of the learners. You do not have to be identified gifted and talented in order to benefit from the services that are provided by our GT specialists at each campus. And those services can look really one of three different ways. The first one is planning with the classroom educator to make sure that there are extension activities built into the learning design for learners who have demonstrated mastery of the content. And again, you don't have to be GT to have mastery of content, sometimes before it's even taught. The second way would be to provide differentiation for the content where learners could engage with it in different ways. One being that the content is actually different because they've already demonstrated mastery, so we're doing something else with those learners that's related. It could be that our learners are being asked to engage with the content in a different way, so they're utilizing a different process. Or finally, that a product, perhaps a more sophisticated product, could be required for the learners who have demonstrated mastery. And then the final way that GT specialists support our learners is through a push-in or a pull-out model. If the GT specialist is pushed into the classroom, then they are co-teaching with the classroom educator. They could be pulling a small group of learners to the side and doing an extension activity with those learners. Again, not necessarily identified GT. Or they could be pulling learners out and doing some small group instruction or multi-age instruction, or perhaps some accelerated instruction. With our GT specialists in and out of classrooms, it is possible that assessment could be triggered for any learner as a need may present itself. But our fourth grade educators over the course of the year will be completing a needs assessment on each learner to help us know a little bit more about the learner's strengths and interests. That too may trigger identification or assessment. As most of our learners participated in universal screening last year, it is possible that we would pull those scores forward and look at additional assessment data that may be requested. And that could be anything from the MAP scores that will be gathered on learners during these first 6 weeks or so of school to other qualitative data points such as interviews, etc. If this is the case for your learner, you will be notified on an individual basis. Should we identify that a learner requires the service that we provide on an ongoing basis, then we will send home permission to serve, and services will begin as soon as that permission is obtained. And as fourth grade parents, it's important that you know that all fifth graders will participate in universal screening next year as we gather data to help them select courses as they move into the middle school. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please direct them to my office, ddinas@coppellisd.com. We are really glad you're here, and we look forward to a very successful 2019-2020 school year.